following is an unpaid preview for a game seeking funding on Kickstarter. The product seen here is a work in progress and is subject to change during the duration of the project.
Hey everyone, it's Ferdinand the Cardboard Stacker. I'm here with Michael Wright, the Unfiltered Gamer, and we have two special guests from Infinite Dream Gaming.
Yep.
Right, we have Michael
Yep.
and Shawn.
Yep.
So, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and tell us about this wonderful game you have.
So, Warehouse 13, the board game, is based on the sci-fi TV show of the same name. It was on for 5 seasons. So, basically, just like the TV show, the warehouse is a top secret facility in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota, and each of the players are agents going out to retrieve artifacts and keep them out of the hands of people who would use them for their own good. In this case, it's season one's adversary.
Evil, right?
Their own evil. It's season one's adversary, James McPherson. So it is a mostly co-op game with a hidden traitor element. There is exactly one traitor who is going to be working for McPherson, and the other agents are going to work for the warehouse, trying to retrieve artifacts and keep them out of the hands of McPherson.
So a question really important for me is, what was the inspiration for the game, other than the fact that you are lovers of the show, I imagine? What are the big board gaming for our community out there, your big experiences?
Well,
and
the show was definitely, I mean, it inspired the game. But really, the idea came to me. I was at Dragon Con and was talking with Aaron Ashmore. He saw one of our company logo shirts and pulled me aside and was asking me about it. And just over the course of talking to him, the more I talked to him, the more it occurred to me that the show, each episode kind of played out like a board game. You know, there were the various stages. Artifact acquisition, investigating, and then
turn
acquiring.
Sequence and all
it was
that
all
stuff,
just
yes.
right there. They had written it into the show, and so I decided, what the heck, let's go for it.
So after you decided to make the game, what inspiration did you pull from other board games?
Well, Shawn is the ideas guy. I'm more of the mechanics guy, and Battlestar Galactica is one of my favorite board games of all time. So I decided, taking my knowledge from the show, I was like, okay, this is a perfect hidden traitor game. So we decided to go that direction with it.
Yeah, definitely from the show itself, Warehouse 13. You never know who's doing what and what's happening where. I mean, I'm a personal lover of the show as well, so I can attest that it definitely has that hidden traitor aspect. Even the main characters can turn out to be bad guys, and then you don't even know it as a viewer, so a very interesting thing, and they put that into the theming of this game.
Well, in the show, one of the characters is influenced by one of the artifacts. She's totally on the good guys team, except she's being influenced by one of the artifacts, and so that sort of thing is
themed into the game as well.
Yeah, it could be exactly something that's happening during a game of Warehouse 13 board game.
It's definitely been a long road. I mean, our initial inspirations were like Michael said, BSG. And actually Arkham Horror being my favorite game, and still, it being a co-op as well. We kind of merged mechanics from the two, and we're working on that. And honestly, what we came up with just didn't work. And
so it's gone through several iterations where we had a map of the U.S. and traveling to different locations, and it wasn't working out.
Pings, instead of being just a card that represented the location, were actual. They were kind of like gates from Arkham. I mean, it honestly looked like BSG meets Arkham.
No.
You would have never had to tell anybody what the inspiration was. And I was just like, yeah, this isn't going to fly. And that's
came up with the dice mechanic,
flushed it out a little bit, and then condensed it,
and made it our own. So
yes.
it's completely different from either game now, but it has those sort of flavors. So in case you're looking for a hidden traitor game and don't have the 4 or 5 hours to spend, then you could play Warehouse 13 in a matter of hour and a half to 2.5 hours.
I think how long we played for this one?
I think it was about 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. I mean,
and that was through the entire game. We played throughout the entire game, which is the not only gathering either 3 artifacts from the bad guys or the good guys side, but we also played the finale, which includes fighting the traitor who is turned into the final boss, basically. So it's a really interesting, unique thing that kind of adds to the game itself. It's not just simply collect this or collect that. I mean, it does derive from other games like BSG, in my opinion, like BSG and the dice rolling game. What's it? The Arkham game? It's dice
Elder
rolling.
Sign.
Sign, as well as BSG, the other BSG Light style game. So I would recommend this to be a similar BSG Light kind of game, Dark Moon. It has that dice rolling techniques, and it also has that traitor aspect where you're like deciding what dice you're going to play. And obviously, sometimes the traitor is not going to have that option of win, but when they do have that option, they can really screw with us. Definitely can do that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I came into this knowing nothing about Warehouse 13.
Oh,
Yeah. And after our playthrough, I want to watch the show.
You should.
I just want to watch the show
that's
now.
good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I can feel really what Warehouse 13 is about in this game.
NBC needs to
Yeah.
hear that.
Oh yeah, you definitely can. Honestly, you feel like you're in the warehouse when you're in the warehouse because there's so many things you can do in the warehouse. And as
Things
Claudia
going wrong.
myself, I was like, oh, well, I can just hack that thing. I don't actually need to go out into the field. Oh wait, you can't actually go out without somebody else because you're a teenager. Ah,
Yeah.
dang you, Artie. So that's an interesting aspect. As well as being on the field, you can still do things out in the field, but it's mainly a set prerogative of what you should be doing, which is gathering that artifact. And I know in the show, generally, it's Pete and who's the other one? Micah. They both go out there and do that. And you just definitely in the game it does have that feeling of like which characters should go and when they should go and how they should go. And if
should
you
we
don't
leave?
do
Should we
certain
leave somebody alone in the field
Um,
by themselves with the artifact?
No,
So.
never a good idea. Apparently not a good idea. But yeah, so a lot of inspiration we talked about the gaming community as well as the show itself. Do you feel like both sides would gain from this experience?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm really hoping so. I mean, I feel like they would. I know fans of the show have almost universally said that they feel the show in the game. And then, I mean, I honestly feel like that we've put together a solid offering here that does scratch that hidden traitor itch and in less time than some of the other heavy hidden traitor itches.
And it can't just be an IP based, slap an IP on a game and let it fly. It's got to be a good game unto itself.
First and foremost.
I mean, it's like, you can see it's like pretty close to something like, as you said, BSG. But I played it like, yes, it looks like it. No, it is not.
No, it's a nice merging of a lot of good mechanics from really good games. They all fit into one nice little traitor game. So you've never seen the show, and I've seen the show. Both of us are reviewers.
So we've got both sides, which is, and you guys
and
can.
I can attest that yes, there's a lot of theme in this game. This game does feel like the show, and I do feel like the character I am playing, which is excellent too. And especially because I really enjoyed that. Go ahead.
Let me do qualify though that even though it was developed as and intended to be a hidden traitor game, for those who don't like hidden traitor games, who prefer a pure co-op, it can absolutely be played pure co-op. We do have a variant worked out. While the traitor is hidden, the traitor is still actively influencing the game through an automated mechanic. That mechanic can be just carried through the entire game without there ever actually being a hidden traitor. And yes, that makes the game a little bit easier. And for some, that actually may be a good thing.
Yes.
If it's not, you can always play the game with several of the consequences already enacted to increase the difficulty level back up to what it would be if there were an active traitor. Also, for those who would rather just play it as a team game, somebody could play as the traitor, exposed up front, and just run with it. And then
First turn traitor
and then
reveal,
the others playing as agents. So I mean, we're trying to make sure that yes, what we intend this to be is a hidden traitor game, but it does work
as a 2 to 5 player co-op.
Yes.
Yep.
Got you.
Yeah.
So yeah, both of us. I personally, from my own experience, I love the show. And this game is a definite pickup for me because I really enjoy just not only the theming of the game, but also how it plays, how it feels when I'm playing it, the feel of the characters. They all really work, and all of them have their own special, unique skills and stats and abilities that they can acquire. They have once per game abilities. They've got once per season abilities. They got all these kind of different great things.
Yeah, once per season
episode?
is the game. The way we pace this, we tried to pace it kind of like a TV show. So each each artifact that you're trying to acquire is an episode. So you have a once per episode ability that can be used once per each artifact retrieval round.
Right.
Once per season is then once for the entire game. We just call it once per season.
I know, and you don't use a lot of the artifacts in the game. I mean, look. I mean, you look at the deck of this. I mean, it's pretty much
They're
quite a lot of like replay in this game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would certainly. I would think there's a lot.
The
of
hidden
replay.
traitor mechanic in general in this game is going to have a lot of replayability on its own.
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing? How is he playing? Obviously you play with the same people over and over again. You start to realize that certain people tend to do certain things as the traitor.
I wouldn't know anything
I
about
did
that.
try to warn you all.
So you guys just finished playing it, and it came down to that you guys captured the first 2 artifacts without any problem. I was the traitor. And then the adversary artifact came up, and
Which
you
is a
guys
difficult one.
lost it. And so that was the first one you guys had lost. If you had won it, it would have been
Game
over. And the warehouse team would have won.
It was your fault, though.
Yeah, it wasn't my fault.
He was
So
doing his job.
I used my ability to get the second artifact single-handedly.
Yep.
But I knew that I was going to go ahead and actively try to fail the third artifact, which I did.
Should have put him in the bronzer.
Should have bronzed me right off. Right, and that is something that you suggested.
I pushed for it, but
couldn't
get
gain enough support. Mostly because you had a lot lot die rolls.
I did.
I blame myself and everyone else.
and that,
I blame
that
everybody
too-
else, not myself.
Not only does the traitor just have the ability to do quite a few things to keep themselves hidden, but simply the fact that this is a hidden die rolling, there's a hidden die rolling aspect to all of this. Somebody else rolling badly, that helps cover up the traitor too.
Gives you a lot of plausible deniability.
Yeah, that's one of the more interesting spots in the game is that part where you're rolling and then somebody's putting something else in there.
Or I'm helping, but I'm not helping as good as I could have been.
Yeah, you.
So, and then I got another couple of artifacts.
You're going to need to start shaking up your tactics with me, though, because I've got you pegged.
Just gotta listen to you now. I wasn't sure if you were like trying to coerce me to believe that he was a bad guy so we could bronze him and then you take the shine,
Exactly.
or like, oh no, he knows what he's talking about. I should go with him. I'm like, I feel like he might be, but I don't know.
See, that's
And that's the beauty of a hidden traitor game.
Yep. If it's designed well. I mean, otherwise it falls apart.
All right.
So
Anyway, let's go ahead and wrap things up. Is there anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay, well,
hopefully going to Kickstarter within the next couple of months. We have to get everything approved through NBC. So as soon as they give the green light, then we can go ahead on that.
That is the hardest part about doing an IP based game is dealing with the studio. It is definitely difficult.
We'll be visiting them tomorrow, and then visiting with Eddie McClintock this weekend, and showing him the game.
For those who don't know, Eddie McClintock was the one who played Pete Latimer on Warehouse 13, and we're actually going to be showing him the game and hopefully getting some video of him actually playing with us.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah, so anyway, hey, thanks guys for coming over.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
To the Cardboard Stacker Suit. Michael, thank you for coming.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you. No problem.
And don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to visit their Kickstarter, which is going to be happening in a few months, right?
Yep, we're warehouse13theboardgame.com, and you can sign up for our contact list there. And we've got our game already listed on Board Game Geek, and so you can subscribe there and fan us there and keep track of everything.
I've seen it. I'm just waiting now. Hurry up!
Working on it.
Okay, guys. See ya.
See you next time.